So if the recording looks a little lopsided, it's because normally I'd have a graphic on the lower left that I'm just going to replace with the monster icon, which I will put up while I'm doing it slow. I will probably be using a, I'll probably be, nah, well, we'll see. No, we'll see. I think I'll just leave it, but I'm going to have to avoid pressing the button that I want to press, and I'll leave it at that. But nonetheless, I guess then I can see how long it takes for me to actually raise a monster without, yeah, just raise a monster. So, I am working on the JMML versus BNNY meet stuff, but that involves 5 monsters on each side, so I have to basically raise 10 monsters. And this all has to be before DX. If not, I'll just probably do the monsters that I did raise. But without further ado, we'll get into it. This is actually not hard mode, but at least to do vanilla before DX comes out. And if I do any more based on the way I'm playing this game, then it would be hard mode. But if it's not hard mode, I did do the... I am going to be getting a random monster in the shrine, I'll put it that way, and I did put in, I think this is the fixed version as well, and I'll leave it at that. Again, it's not hard mode, just so that I, at least for myself, I can say that I played one more time before DX comes out. Because after this, I'll probably just play on hard mode. That said, that graphic on the bottom right is wrong, so let me fix that. And if I can't get a monster here, I'll just change my name, and yeah, I'll make a cut. That said, I was considering whether or not I wanted to just make a compilation, but I just said, nah, I'll just put my whole experience up on YouTube, and it will be fine. Otherwise, anything else, I'll probably put the monsters I'm rating for the meet in my Patreon. So if you want to see full, basically proof of rancher training progress, then yeah, it's gonna be really. That wasn't random, right? Well, now I'm a bit curious, but because I swear this is one of the monsters that will appear if you're having problems with CDs, I'll just say. But if nothing else, well, here you go. I'm just gonna name you Bunny. Oops, boot. But yeah, and when DX comes out, it comes out, which is odd right now because I completely forgot that FF14 was in early access right now, and here I am. Well, I mean, DX doesn't come out because the date is on the 7th. I also got the Switch version, but that's more for testing and or if people around me want to play. So without further ado, let's at least save it here first. You might see me save scum here and there, and I will talk about my background as a rancher in a quick moment. Right before I finish the thought, so yeah, again, just before I finish, I guess, the other plug, I guess we're to call it technically, but, oh, I'm also not using any, static! I'm also not using any outside, help, so this is just gonna be me doing what I remember, so, which means I'll have to check my monster information a bit more frequently, and by that I mean more than not at all, but, yeah. So, if you didn't already watch my announcement of the JMML vs BNNY meet video, then I'll say it right here. I'm a chronic Monster Rancher 2 player. For some reason, every year I binge Monster Rancher 2. So while I have never raised a competitive monster or whatnot, because I also played MR2 on the Switch, yes. But I also stopped, again, I'm a chronic Monster Rancher 2 player, so yeah, and I'm not the best either, so don't expect to see the same type as other people who might know what they're doing. Also, what do I want to do? I don't even remember the growth rates, but I'll find out just by, again, I'm not using any outside resources, so I'm just gonna try to do this. Yeah, we'll be building intelligence anyway. No, let's play it safe though. Let's play it safe. Normally, I would just try. Well, it's not hard mode, which is what I would probably train it a bit more, but yeah, also I have to let the training fly so I can get the graphic that I'll put on the bottom left in a hot moment. But, do I want to mangle this as well? No, I think I'll be fine, so. But yeah, I play it every year, and like I go around 10, 20 years-ish, maybe 30-ish, I think one time, but then I stop playing because, well, I do other stuff. But now that DX is coming out, I decided to get a little bit more serious, so. And by that, I mean, I'm still not going to be competing in any competitive tournaments that the community or otherwise officially any tournaments that come out or tourneys that come out, but I'll be doing my own thing, and I hope that's okay. I do have to give a shout out to the people in the community. I don't need to name names because they know who they are. Yeah, not because I don't know their names. I swear I do. But yeah, also I need to buy a mint leaf. So yeah, that's that. So yeah, because I've basically been lurking. I think I actually joined the Discord community a year or two ago. No earlier than that for sure. But I mean, I just got through playing Monster Rancher 2 on my own with outside reasons, of course. Without yeah, I even without joining Discord, there are a bunch of resources that all link back to the community anyways, which is why I have to give that shout out. So yeah. And so basically I'm working off the information that I know from playing chronically here and there, and of course I've been playing it recently as well. So I could probably do Mango Mint Leaf every month, but again, I want to play it safe, just in case bad things happen. I want to try to reduce the amount of saves coming, not that you really need to on, not that you'd really need to for vanilla Monster Rancher 2. So, but I mean, bad things can happen. I mean, on First Monster, especially if you're someone who doesn't have any experience with Monster Rancher 2, yeah, it's kind of understandable why, I mean, you've seen the playthroughs, you've seen at least 1 or 2 playthroughs here and there, and I shouldn't need to say more about that. What I will do is save near the beginning of every month, or when I remember, because just in case the game crashes for whatever reason, it's never crashed on me, but in case the things running the game crash, I want to be able to recover my data, because otherwise, well, it'd be really bad. I'd also press another button here, but I don't want to do that either, because the game already gives you enough to save scum unless you're really trying to save scum in another way. So but usually if we're talking vanilla, you wouldn't need to do that. You would only need to do that if you're doing advanced strategies, so, or advanced raising tactics. Yeah, so I think I ate the mango there. Also, I need to start. Okay, good. He needs to fail stuff too, because otherwise I have to eventually. No, I wouldn't even be able to. I need to get a Gemini pot first. So, and for veteran players, they probably understand why I said that. Not that, oh, I'm teaching people. Again, I'm not that good. It's just I'm working off the experience I know. So, and again, this is after a few monsters on hard mode, so it'll take a while for me to adjust to the fact that I'm not fighting a golden Suezo during the S rank meet, and among other monsters that appear there, because yeah, it is a fun time. Don't get me wrong, playing hard mode, but vanilla is, I mean, there's no reason not to play vanilla first if you have little experience, are coming back after basically actually 20 plus years. Well, when did Monster Rancher 2 release? Like 1999 or something, but yeah. If nothing else, well, I said I wasn't gonna save scum, but yeah. So let me put that here. Well, at least while it saves, so there we go. It's a pink Kato, but so again, my experience in Monster Rancher 2 is just basically starting new game every single time, which is why the rule set I'm using for the meat, I guess I have to come back to it because I'm going to be making videos on it, but yeah, I'm just, why part of the rules for the meat I'm making for myself, it's basically just going to be me versus myself, but the rule is that I have to start from new game, and then I have to basically make another new game after the first 3 monsters. Although, even after the first monster, you'll have enough resources, or, I mean, if you... Well, yeah, you'll have enough resources that you can raise the next monster comfortably. Having Paradoxine, having your peaches, having enough funds to basically raise a monster without ever needing to do any... unoptimized tourneys if you're really trying to raise top monsters, even though I mean, if you're doing competitive tournaments, obviously, because you have to obey stat limits, but if you're just going all out, I mean, you just set everything to, well, in the DX it's going to be 999, in here it's going to be 950 unless it's speed at 760, so of course, since I'm not streaming this and I'm recording this, there's no way for me to you just have to take me by the honor system that I'm remembering that. I will get things wrong, because I'm doing this truthfully and based off the top of my head. So, again, if veteran players want to at least correct me and or reaffirm their own knowledge for whatever reason, in case they want. I mean, again, a wise man can learn from a fool, but a fool like me may not understand what a wise man is saying. So, and I'll leave it at that. Again, it's weird. It's weird. I'm in that weird place where I'm usually in the middle between, well, I'm not unfamiliar, totally unfamiliar, but I'm also not an expert, but... So, that's that. For everyone else, I guess I can try to talk. I mean, it's good to have someone who can try to make that bridge, and those who are interested can look more into how to raise monsters more efficiently. Otherwise, I mean, but in this day and age, in this generation, especially if you're playing FF14 right now, you're gonna play this as a one-off and maybe stop. Meanwhile, the rest of the hardcore ranchers, plus me, will be playing this game pretty much for a while longer. And if you're new to my channel and you don't believe me, just look at the World of Horror videos I made for the basically a year's worth in terms of the amount of time I put in, and yeah. Also, I need to be watching out because I don't know when the sales are going to be. That's kind of already saying a lot, but that'll only mean anything to people who, again, who've played or are part of the community. So, it is what it is. I should probably go harder, but... Actually, no, because I won't be fighting... Well, the earliest I'll probably be fighting is in January, February to get the Gemini pot. Is this the 5th month? Or 6th month? Well, we'll find out soon. I'll probably save on the 4th week, just in case, but I'll probably just feed him fish as well. And so he's still even, which means he's probably around, like... I want to say, like, based on what I have so far, maybe his fear is higher than his spoil right now, but I want to say, like, maybe 15.5, something close to that, but, or maybe 10.10, actually. So I'm going into intelligence skill, but with the way I'm going to be basically blasting through, I probably won't need... Why am I trying to use items? I'll probably be building into life power anyway. I should actually, in vanilla, it might be worth it to build defense if you're doing single player, for your first monster, because, how many monsters are there that actually break 900, 950? I don't even remember that, but again, this is the type of information that I would need to look up on, so for veteran players, that should help you understand where my, what level I'm at in terms of, knowing the game and whatnot, but, yeah. If nothing else, you're skipping through this video because it's probably going to be like an hour or two long. I'm just going to preface that right now. If it's an hour or two long, it's just... I'm going to try to... I didn't want to do one whole thing because that's going to burn me out and I have other things to do. But... Yeah, I'm just going to be safe and feed him fish. I should have checked actually how old he was, but... At this point, again, it doesn't really, it's not gonna make that big of a deal. I have enough to train for at least a year or a year and a half more, so... Yeah, because with fish, it would be around 300 per month, so yeah, I would have another year's worth of, stuff, so... Of, money, I guess. What do we want to call it? Geely's gold? I might just call it gold, but I really should call it whatever, just money, I guess. Which brings me to an interesting comment I ran into from a certain other rancher who's pretty much, along with the other people, one of the bigger, at least, all I need to say is that they do tournaments for the Western community. So, and in one of their videos, they had a comment where it was like, wow, how'd you get that much money? That aside, if we're talking about realistically, you'll get enough money to raise another monster for sure. Especially if your first one's probably gonna be like the money maker anyway. So yeah, you don't need more than that, and if any more than that might look a little sus, but one, it doesn't matter, and two, as this playthrough might show you, you'll get enough money. You'll get enough money where it doesn't matter. So, and if nothing else, you'll. At the bare minimum, enough for one whole monster without ever touching a tourney. Not that I advise you to do that, again, for those who are new to the game. Explore the game. You have a lot to unlock anyway, so... I'm pretty sure you can unlock everything with one monster, but... That's beside the point. Also, I can't tell if I already fed him a mint... Well, I'm gonna be buying more mint leaves anyway, because, I might as well just buy 10, but I want to be safe. Again, in case a sale comes, you are saving money on your first monster. If you don't care, you don't care, because again, like I just said earlier, you'll be making enough money where it won't matter, and I think sales actually go away. From my experience, they went away, and so I forgot that was either that was a thing or that's a bug. I can't remember. I should just look it up to be sure, but it won't matter. You'll make enough money where it won't matter. And by that I mean what? I think over 100k is more than enough. Yes, if you're starting the game, I'll have to reiterate for newer players, you'll be buying house and barn upgrades, but I guess if any veteran player is listening, you won't mind if I make a guide or tips video for Monster Rancher DX, right? Probably only for Monster Rancher 2, again, so for Monster Rancher 1, if anyone else wants to make guides for that, I don't want to step on anyone's toes, basically. Granted, there's already a tier list video out, so that's what it is, but again, so I might do that. So for any veteran players, please don't be offended if I make a tips or guides video for whatever reason on Monster Rancher 2, because yeah. I just putting that out there in case those people are listening. Again, but at the same time, veteran or more experienced ranchers will be much more knowledgeable and experienced in telling you what you should or should not do. I'm more of a if my other guide or tips for other video games means anything, I'm more the bridge, because there are things that I get wrong here and there, but some of them are not actually wrong. It's more interpretation, in terms of, well, optimally you need to do this. But if you're making a tips or guides video, I highly recommend not trying to bog newer players down with too much details. I'm more of the type to hammer in the important points and either smooth those points out in another video, which I haven't done yet, actually. I should probably do that. Or rely on people to look into, because if people are really interested in playing any game, it doesn't have to be Monster Rancher 2, it doesn't have to be World of Horror, it doesn't have to be Idle Manager, then they'll look into it themselves and figure out, hey, I can do this. However, at the same time, I have to personally be careful not to put out misinformation, which is why I usually try to look at everything first. But if a game just comes out, I might as well try to give people the boost, and then we can kind of brainstorm together. And that's why the comment section exists on YouTube. So, yeah. But again, if you were to look up Monster Rancher 2 videos, I highly suggest watching those put out by the people that are putting out those videos, because they are filled with knowledge. Or if nothing else, join the Discord. No one's gonna bite you, and yeah, you'll get access to lots of good information if you aren't already looking online. So yeah, that's the thing. So yep. Again, I don't want to step on anyone's toes. Please let me know. Please comment if you are. If you need to say anything to me, and I will try to respond. Or if you want to privately message me, I'm also on Discord as well, among with the same exact name as my channel name. And yeah, you can also try to send me an email, but I don't suggest that because I don't often check that as often. So I check it once like a day. Sometimes I forget, but you'll more likely to be receiving its response if you either comment on a YouTube video or message me through Discord, which people have done, which is part of the reason why I got reinvigorated for Monster Rancher 2, as we move into the topic of why I've decided to make content for Monster Rancher 2, or at least my experience with it. Because obviously, like a lot of other people, yeah, some people were not born. What am I talking about? Static, I'm sorry, but yeah, my setup is pretty jank as well, if my mic audio didn't already give it away. But I think I started playing this because I started playing this when I was certainly less than 12. I will say that for sure. And yeah, me and my brother played Monster Rancher 2 a whole bunch, as everyone else who has nostalgia is going to come back to this game. The difference between me and most of those people is that I chronically play Monster Rancher 2 every year, and now that DX is coming out, I'm just going to be playing it non-stop. So, and again, that's part of the reason why I wanted to make videos on Monster Rancher DX, I guess we'll call it, because yeah, we actually have an official release. Of course, that doesn't invalidate the community work, but and that will still have its use because, well, unless Koei Tecmo or whoever's working on DX makes balance changes here and there. Oh, nice font style, by the way. Yeah, unless they are making changes here and there where, well, it's never going to be as balanced as basically the hard mode complete version, I'll call it. Community complete version it will be. And that's I'll leave it at that because it is balanced for especially for casual player. If you know what you're doing, it's not going to matter regardless. But however, there are tech changes and whatnot, and by tech changes for newer players, that means the skills or attacks you do have been balanced as well, which is more than usually what I don't know. I didn't keep up with the Japanese version on the Switch, so I don't know how much they changed ever since it released. I swear there wasn't really much differences in terms of techs and attacks for newer players, but basically we'll call them techs. So the monster techs were, I still want to say at this point, again, if any player that knows, or any rancher that knows out there knows, please feel free to tell me, but I'm pretty sure if we're comparing the official release, re-release, remaster, compared to community efforts, the community efforts have balanced the game a lot better. I will say at the bare minimum, it's balanced for the better for the community. The community release is balanced for the better because you can actually use some text, and I'll leave it at that. But regardless, yeah, I did. But even before I played a lot, and we put in, I want to say like years and years, but I was more the type to start new game over and over to try to get, I don't know why new game, starting from zero, really appealed to me, but at that time also I didn't know, and I didn't know how to raise a monster efficiently, because I raised the hare, and that hare only lived for like 3 years, 3 years-ish, so yeah, that was not great. But now, obviously, now all of my monsters get to participate in the Elder Cup, at least in the Western release. In the DX release, I think I'd have to recheck if the lifespan is going to be minus 100 weeks. I feel like that's going to be the case, and that's for the better, because if it wasn't, yeah, the game would be casually it'd be too easy. I say as well, no, that's correct, because even people who played the Japanese re-release, they didn't get any. Most of them didn't make it past, I want to say C or B, but C or B rank, but A rank for sure, and definitely not the Major 4. But if you know what you're doing, it's a lot easier. Of course, that's not to say that people, if you save scummed, you probably had the easiest time, because if you don't save scum, things become a lot different, even on vanilla mode, because RNG is RNG. So you get hit by you enter a tournament maybe like a few levels below, or your stats are not up to snuff, and then yeah, and then bad things happen and you die. So that Suezo does an I-beam, and yeah, you're dead, and there's nothing you can do. Also, on that note, I did not... Oh, that's right, I don't start with an intelligence tech, do I? No, I'm thinking of hard mode. That's why I was like, I was training intelligence, and I was like, oh, I'll be fine, and then I went, oops. Oh, was it last? No, it's coming, right? What, really? Okay, it's over here. So I have time, except that I'm running out of money, so... Oof. Well, it's too late to raise into power, question mark? We'll see, because I have... No, yeah, I'd have to do it. And I also have to feed potatoes, so I might have to try it for this month. With the little power I have. 80 power, but really level 1 power, because that's all that matters in the old release. Yeah, level 2 power, so... Which is still not going to be good. I might as well raise my skill. I might as well rush skill. And this said, I'll probably also need to either eat a mango or eat a... Yeah, mango into oil, I think, is going to be what I plan to do. But we'll see. Again, I've not actually played normal for a while, so I don't even remember if... how well I'll do based on the stats I currently have. That said, yeah, let's save it and do the mango. So, I think funny enough, I wouldn't even be that far behind if I had all the tools available to me that I want to use, but And by tools, that doesn't really mean anything, but... ooh, no, not candy, where am I going? Mango into nuts oil. I would just nuts oil into nuts oil, but obviously we're working on a budget here, so... yeah, we're gonna mango into nuts oil. And hope we win. And if we don't, I don't know. Again, I don't know how much I want to save scum, but this specifically is gonna make or break a lot of things, so... And I need to visit an errantry regardless, so... It'll depend, Because I have until May. May is the Gemini Pot tourney, and I might not even get it, because, yeah, again, it'll depend. And I'll be working with a pretty bad tech, I think, because I don't remember... I keep thinking I had the techs I had in hard mode, and or basically the extra tech I get in hard mode, but I don't, so... Oakley Man's gonna punch me here, and it's gonna feel real good. Yeah, so... That said, it's still gonna be... It might be okay, as long as I don't get hit, which is a tall order, but... we'll see. I am also interested to see if I did everything correctly, because again, everything should be, patched up in this version that I did. I've only made a few changes. The real thing I haven't done is switch it to hard mode, so... We'll see. Oh my goodness, yeah. Basically, all I need to do is not get hit. But I guess I'll throw out a few techs here and there, just to not stay at 99 guts. Until I get hit like that, then it won't matter. I also should have checked which one of these has more force, but... Hey, at least when I crit, I crit. I actually want him to throw out a couple, because then I think I'm in the life lead. Get away from me, please! And I might be able to stall this out. Otherwise, he's just gonna frame one straight me, and I have to hope to dodge. No, unless that happens! Okay, never mind. We're gonna stay away. Just stay over there. Just stay over there and let me win. Unless I'm actually not in the life lead, which would really, really be bad. Also, I never switched it back, so, here's the actual graphic that's supposed to appear, and I did lose, so gosh dang it. I needed to run forward. What do you want from me? Why is it so suspicious? Yeah, so apparently I do have enough, but Oakley Man just decided, nah man, I have more HP. Which is part of the reason why Oakley Man is good, or was a terror for new players, because his stats just happen to be built in such a way that makes it hard for you to win against him as a new monster. But well, this is gonna be at least there's gonna be a more balanced fight here, but it's still not gonna be fun. So yeah, if I had an intelligence tech, this would be a lot better. Well, it won't even matter, because even when I get an intelligence tech, it probably won't be one that will be great. Basically, I just want Twister Claw, and yeah, I just want Twister Claw. But the chance of me getting that is not really great, because I have to go and get other stuff. But I don't have the money to keep doing errantries, so... Yeah, we'll see what happens. Oh my goodness, just frame one spam moves. Eat it. Again, if this is hard mode, this would not be possible at all, so, yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, good. I mean, yeah, I just have to accept that that'll happen with my level of loyalty! Yep, frame one bite, frame one scratch! I'm mashing the button here, and I cannot get an attack out. Nice, AI. Yeah, the worst part of AI. I think even on that regard, I haven't gotten to that point yet, even on hard mode, where I can yeah, because even then I think the monsters are balanced enough where nice, thank you, I'll take this, no save scum needed. But yeah, the monsters are actually balanced enough on hard mode where no matter what your stats are, it's gonna be a bit of a struggle. On top of any secret things that were put in. Again, all the changes are in the change log, but again, they could have always slipped something through, so... Because I'm pretty sure the techs are also optimized, so... even though they're an AI, it won't matter, because since their techs are optimized, they won't... The pixies won't be patting you, I guess. And if they are, it's built in such a way where their pat will do like 100 damage, even though your defense is equal to your defense level is equal to the offense level. So, it is what it is. But in normal mode, I guess that's if we want to talk about technical balance, then technically normal mode is balanced because you can build defense over their strength or their power or intelligence, so it mitigates a lot more. But obviously, once you build your monsters to the pinnacle, apparently I think it's like 25% mitigation. Again, if I'm repeating this more for myself to retain, or if nothing else, someone will correct me and I'll retain it better. So I'm not saying information to try to teach people necessarily. If for some reason you learn or it helps other people retain your knowledge, then I mean, I guess I guess that's good. But yeah, but when defense level is equal to power intelligence, yeah, research shows theoretically and practically, usually those monsters, more tanky types don't do on average. Of course, there are always. I've also seen the tourney battles where a tank it works out, and again, in the end, the game is RNG. If you could miss a 99% and then just get punched for 20% hit rate, and you just end up dying. So it is what it is. So don't take. I'm not trying to put forth the idea that I believe that one way of training your monster will always win. It's just is it incorrect to say that a lot of the time, or in general, you're not building. I mean, you're still building defensive stats, it's just that defense is a lot less valuable. But I guess on that regard, if we're theory crafting about that, then how much mitigation would be too much, basically? So, again, if we're talking about the theoretical 25%, I don't know if it's that for sure, or maybe it's close to that, but if it was 33%, or if it was 40 or 50% when, say, your defense is at 950 versus power at 950, would it be too much if... would it be too much if the mitigation was 50%? Would 40% be balanced? Would 33% be balanced? 25% seems too low from what I've looked into. So, in terms of people's opinions and whatnot, and my own thoughts on it, because again, I've watched the tourney battles. I've watched tournament official and community tournaments, and a lot of the time, yeah, there's some that reach top 3 and whatnot, but for the most part, yeah, it doesn't go well. So, not to say that every monster can't do that, but at the same time, the game. I mean, when you bring things to the highest level, there's gonna be a point where one wins out over the other. So, if I were to think about it that way, I would rather see an offense-based meta over a defense-based meta. Does that mean battles are faster? Maybe, but on average, maybe, but in terms of viewer enjoyment, I can understand why it might be a bit boring to some people to just see the slugfest into timeout. But we see timeout. We see a good amount of timeouts regardless, even though that's more due to dodging a match where monsters dodge each other at 60 or 40%. So. I mean, it is what it is. And again, that also depends on the tournament. If there's no limit, all we get is Metalners with Metalners, or I think in the Japanese tourneys, or especially for some of the official ones, there was like Kamui, I think, but I can't remember. I'd have to look back into it. But otherwise, Metalner, I think the Japanese community shifts towards a few other monsters, but Metalner, they also talk about Metalner as well, from what I've seen. So, yeah, otherwise we get a bunch of Metalners, and that's why in the community-run tournaments, at least on the western side, Metalners are usually banned. So, yeah, but I don't know if they're banned here. Well, again, it depends on both the tournament and the person running the tournament and the rules that they put up. So, yeah, we'll see. Again, don't take my word for fact. If nothing else, I'm more theory crafting. So, yeah, so it's spoiled right now. That means if its spoil isn't already at 100, yeah, which means my fear has to be like at 10 or something. It doesn't look good. But nonetheless, I don't want to smoke snake because, well, if my fear is at 10 and I use smoke snake, it's not gonna do anything. I'd rather wait an extra 10 months with Gemini's pot before using a smoke snake. That way I get more out of it. But, yep, that'll have to wait. How many of these do I have? I might as well just buy out mint leaves again. Question mark? I think that's what I'll do, because I need to buy a mango into an oil. So let's see if I have enough for that, at least. Because I can't tell, because all I have are mint leaves, and they just loop into each other. Alright, and after that, I should just be able to mint leaf a bunch. Because all I'll be doing is trading. And I'll be taking it safe for now. Although I might move into heavy lights in about... No, it was a birth... I just went to the... No, yeah, I just had a birthday, so actually I should be focusing more on harder... once I get money here and there, which means... No, I need to visit an errantry still, so... It'll probably be another 3 to 6 months of light training. Again, I'm playing it really safe. I think I can already do... Yeah, because if I do mango... You know what? Well, we'll find out. Let's try it. Oh, I'll definitely take the great. Yeah, because I have the +1 bonus as well. Not that that matters too much, but for my first monster, I might as well. Because that'll be 30. That'll be 15 fatigue and 12 stress. 12, 5, 5, 22, 44. I can still mangle in the third read. I didn't mess anything up, did I? I think that's what you do. Heavy, light, maybe rest. Well, after this cheat, I'll definitely have to, yeah, this is gonna be a week lost. I was probably stressed out already. But, yeah, I probably messed up. I'm definitely gonna rest on the 4th week, but, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have done that yet. But yeah, we're still gonna train the 3rd week, but we're definitely gonna rest the 4th week. I might even need to mangle or nuts oil, probably oil, but I need to burn 2 mint leaves because I scolded it. I scolded it the other times as well, so I probably would have been over. But I think I was resting on the 4th week, so I should be fine. So after this, though, I need to start actually doing non-stop. Non-stop? Yeah, no, I still have to rest because I won't have enough money to sustain myself. So, I need that errantry to come. The errantry discount to come. And yeah, it won't matter. It won't matter which... No, it's too late. I have to just... Oh, this is so ugly. This is so ugly. This is so ugly. I got to... Gosh dang it. Well, yeah, I think we're gonna start going harder. Watch me be wrong. Watch me be... Every month that I do this, I'm actually losing an extra week or two because I've miscalculated something. But I have to because I need to rush the... I need to rush this. I don't have time to... Actually, I should have been doing pull if that was the case, but... Actually, can I make it? How much am I making? No, I won't make it. I would have had to pull earlier. I wonder if I should load... April? Where am I at? May? Let's load it, actually. Yeah, let's load it. Because I need to get at least level 2 in power at the bare minimum. Or that's the thought. When DX comes out, I think every stat was point for point in the Japanese remaster, but I have to look into it again. But here we have to get at least 100 power, otherwise there's no effect. So, yeah. I think we're okay here, and I bought everything I needed already, so we'll find out. Or he could just fail, which means we are going to load it. Gosh dang it! We're definitely loading that. If nothing else, I'll just domino 3 times, but I have enough to domino. I shouldn't need to. Yeah, I could just domino. But we'll try pulling one more time, just so we get... Well, is it actually more points to... Because if all I want is 100 power... Well, anywho, I'm just gonna decide. Yeah, that hurts my speed, but... I have enough. Yeah, that wasn't worth it, but... yeah, we're definitely gonna domino. Yeah, that said... Yeah, can we even make it to 200? He'd be like 4 points, right? 2 points? Oh, we're not even gonna make it. Huh... well, if I'm not gonna make it, I might as well build maybe life instead? Huh. How do I get out of this situation? Gosh dang it. Well, we're eating a mango, that's for sure. Huh. Yeah, because until we can spam tablets, we have to rest on the 4th week. You know what? Okay, this is the last time I'm going to be loading it, because I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep training optimally, but I mean, Kato has a long lifespan regardless, but the problem is I'm running out of money, and that, which means I need to make. I'll probably be fighting into adolescence, but it's fine because this is my first monster, or maybe my only. Again, I'm doing the one-off here. The goal is the Legend Cup, and if we're aiming for the Legend Cup, I'll probably be having to. Let's just non-disclosure. I'll be. And transparency, I'm gonna have to save scum. There's no way around it. Especially as inoptimal as I might be. I won't even make 200 skill. Well, it's too late now. Do we have an E? Yeah, we have an E. So, did I do the thing? I don't even remember if I did meditate. I think I did. So, which means I need to eat a mango here. 360 per month. Because that's mint leaf, mango, fish. Well, regardless, I'm going to be doing skill. Every point in life matters, but I'm probably getting punched into oblivion anyway. Before... No, if I wanted to plan only for the short term, I'd be building life a little bit. But even then, I think Kato, Kato's rate on life is low anyway, so yeah, no, actually, I'll just be building skill regardless. Building skill until I can build into... Or build speed, I guess. What is my speed right now? Am I even... No, I'm normal form. Yeah, actually, yeah, it would depend on my form as well, since I don't know the exact number I'm at. So my speed could actually be below level 3 right now. A little bit. If my form is in the more towards the positive. I think it's point for point. If it's not point for point, still, it's a real worry that I have to think about. Because the moment I go into Air Tree, they turn plump for whatever reason, so yeah. Yeah, they turn plump, which means my speed is gonna get shot to the ground. Also, nice errantry, bro. Should I just skip this then? I should just skip this. I really want this Gemini's plot, though. I mean, all I really need it for is the loyalty, but if I'm not going to be fighting, I'm not going to be fighting. So, yeah, you know what? We're going to go errantry now, and we'll see. Because I think Twister... I won't be getting Twister call anytime soon. I think, well, you know what? Let's find out. Let's find out. Because I'm pretty sure this is the physical tech as well. I have to mash through it, please. Yeah, there's no way I get... Well, there's no way, because Twister... Yeah, Twister Claw's... Not a chain, obviously, but it's one that comes after this, when I don't have that much errantries. I might as well take as... Well, it's gonna be bad either way. It's gonna be bad either way. Oh, goodness. Fails stage 3 times, and yeah, immediately when he comes back, mint leaf, rest. I think I'm gonna play safe and rest again as well. Watch him get injured. If he gets injured, I'm still gonna take a look at the tech, but if he gets injured, I'm definitely loading it as well. Okay, never mind. Oof. Yep. And let's check. Also, yeah, I need to check his... Well, I'm going to be checking his form anyway, because I'm going to be checking the tech, so... Let's find out. I would feed him a tablet here, but, yeah, we don't have... Well, actually... No, it won't matter. I don't think it... Well, yeah, I think it will matter, but... There's no way. And he likes fish anyway. I know that even though tablet's still going to be better, but we're working on this. If he hated fish or everything else, it'd be a different story. Not that that's possible, but, you know. Yeah, I know you're stressed. Okay, let me check. So, yeah, normal form. Yeah, and then he gets Phantom Claw, which is not what we want. I mean, if we need something to hit, but either, yeah, I would rather do the Withering. I would rather get a Intelligence Tech than... yeah, especially if we're going to be ranking up, it won't matter. Actually, on that note, I wonder how much time... Nah. because I don't know how long this Kato will live exactly. Obviously, I'll know based on he'll live for 6 years. That I'm gonna bank on for sure. But what I'm worried about is how many monsters I can unlock in this one. Not again. Well, actually, it doesn't matter. Again, it's. I'm saying again because I've repeated it a lot of times, but yeah, all I'm trying to do is reach the Legend Cup. I'm not even going to continue off this unless I transfer this to hard mode because the transition is seamless. But you know, so we'll take the tech here, and I think I'll just call it because we might as well build into this skill. We need skill as well, but in normal mode, I value the offensive power because all I need to do is get the hit. So. If this is hard mode, then obviously all my stats need to be a bit more balanced, but yeah. So, oh, nice injury by the way. Well, this is a load actually. There's no way I'm keeping this injury. I need this time actually. Even though my stat gain is pretty garbo, I would like this time. Actually, no, I need to load it regardless. Because each time each week he's in the hospital, I think is still lifespan lost because his life index doesn't change. So yeah. And for those of you who hate seeing me load and save like this, well, have fun getting to the Legend Cup in your first monster because there's there's no way around it. Especially if you're trying to beat the Major 4, if you lose one of those tournaments, that's another year you have to wait, and that's another year you might not have. So, on your first monster anyway. If it's not your first monster, you have and you're playing on normal mode, you have like a 95% chance to win. I can't see how you fail to get Major 4. On top of that, even you probably even get 2 chances at Major 4 if you don't decide to save scum. So, yeah, that's how. Not easy it is, but that's how efficient you can train your monster. So, of course, if you're playing around with things, trying to make only if you're entering a tourney that only allows your monster to live for a year or 6 months, if you're in one where your monster needs to have certain stats below a threshold while everything else can be built a certain way, then yeah, it requires a bit more. In training like that, I think, in my opinion, is a bit more skillful because it requires you to use your knowledge of the game, as there's a lot to learn, but it's not too much where you're not trying to do one-frame links in the fighting game, alright? You just need to retain the knowledge and be able to tell. Granted, there are hidden numbers in this game, so yeah, unless you know those, you can't train it as well, but we managed on the Japanese remaster, we'll manage in DX, so yeah, because yeah, I know, and at that point, yeah, I think obviously veteran ranchers have given it some thought, but ultimately, if you're running community-run tournaments, there's no way to tell if someone's quote-unquote cheated, I mean, you can try to disguise it really well, and that's always a problem, but I mean, at that point, you're entering tournaments where you may be able to remove text regardless, because, well, I do agree on that point. If that point were to be brought up, I'll use two big leaves, whatever. But if the point were to be brought up that it's boring to see a mock do headbutt when it's meant to be built, when someone built it intelligence, then yeah, sure, okay, I understand where you're coming from, but if we're looking at the oh yeah, that sound is part of the game, but because of my setup, but keeping the I guess purity of the game, I guess is the correct way to say it, is pretty important too. So yeah, so licking oh, because I'm Kato Mochi, that's right. Well, we'll work with it. This will be an interesting run, if nothing else, in terms of me personally. Yeah, actually, I've never trained the Kato before in my life before I started over again. In my recent hard mode, I think I think I think the BNNY side has a Kato. I think it's Kato Tiger. But here it's Kato Mochi, and only Kato Mochi can learn licking, if I recall correctly. So, speaking of, oh no, I also, it was a Mochi Tiger, but the point that connected me with it is that I learned licking. Whereas in hard mode, or the balanced version of hard mode, or no, it's hard mode. It's pretty much hard mode, because hard mode introduces the changes, the balancing. But Mochi's licking in hard mode is a lot more effective than it is in vanilla. So, and guess what? All it took was a tweaking of numbers, and guess what? Licking was actually usable. So, not that it's the best. Obviously, there are texts out there that you want Mochi to use, but in an official tournament, you don't really have that luxury because it's AI versus AI. Now, if it was player versus player for whatever reason, which would be kind of weird, but if that were the case, then that's a whole different argument. Because the point is to let the monsters fight it out. And I know to some people they might not understand why it has to be AI versus AI no matter what you tell them. I think this conversation's come up before, but you know, do I want to? You know what? We'll give it a try. We'll fight this tournament no matter what. So I'm just gonna save over this and be confident in myself. Believe in myself. Go, go, go. Move forward. That said, what is it? What am I at again? 39. My life index is at 39 right now. I know that for sure, but I forgot if it was mango nuts oil right after, or yeah, I'm just gonna mango nuts oil actually. Either way, I have to nuts oil, so because if you win the tournament, all your stress goes away. So I guess one of the good things about tournaments, especially in the later age where you might only be getting 5 to 6 points total per training, whereas opposed to if you go into a tournament, yeah, it's a randomized stat, so no rancher would probably rely on tournaments, but if you're playing casually or just trying to milk the most of your first monster, yeah, tournament. Especially, yeah, if it's if it's your first monster, you're trying to get as much money as possible, regardless, for your next monster. So it is what it is. And casually, for my own enjoyment, I try to have every monster beat the Legend Cup. Not that that's impossible if you are training competitively. Anyway, any monster you train, if you are a competitive rancher to any extent, is probably going to be able to win the Legend Cup on vanilla anyway, reliably without save scumming. So, yeah, that's that. Oh my god, I pushed them away. Why did I push them away when he did foolery? So yeah, at this point. Oh my goodness, nice. I think I've reached the phase where my RNG is really, really bad for myself. Yeah, sure, 70% chance to hit isn't the best, but we're gonna see a lot worse, which is thankfully good for recording, but bad for my own personal insanity. So let me attack. 52%. I'll probably just start spamming, even if I hit foolery, because with the Force of E, it's not going to do much damage regardless, but I might as well try to get damage, because if no one lands a hit here, it's gonna be interesting. Oh my goodness. I might as well actually just spam anything I have, so to try to hit something. Well, that was interesting. Consumed. No, I knew that was the reason. I was like, I need to spam this. Gosh dang it. Well, either way, second place is still good. But yeah, I would like to get first if possible. Which, as long as I win all my battles, Capella just has to not clean us out. So that's that. Although I will have... Well, we'll see. Yeah, because Harry Mao has higher skill. Which means he's more likely to hit me at all, unless I lick him right here. 66% chance. Yeah! And 28 withering, but it's a hopper, and the animation is quite lengthy, so even though it's more average, but that is already a little bit. So if this was a hard mode, this Harry Mao would knock me out, because I think it's Harry Mao EX. So yeah, that jump blow, it probably would have been in two jump blows, and it would have hit me, and it would have killed me. Probably would have even injured. No, it would have even actually might have. No, yeah. Well, it would have. It might have injured me. We'll say that for sure. I can say that with some amount of certainty. And now that Capella lost, all I have to do is win. And hopefully, well, it depends how I fight Winston. But either way, it's gonna be up to RNG. I'm not. My stats are not where I want to be to start farming E and Ds for a little bit of money. I want enough to make it through Prime trainings, but even that's a bit of a stretch. So, nice double 50%, bro. Can I get a 41% licking then? I shouldn't have even tried. I'm just gonna sit. I'm gonna actually stand up and go get a drink of water, and I'll be right back. Time's actually running out. I got a little scared. I'm coming. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Let me get a licking, please. 1. Hit. No. I just came back. This is my cup. Oop, let me just. Yeah. Yeah, so actually what we can do is this, so we can load it faster. But yeah, I think I'm actually gonna load that. That was a bit, that was more my fault, but loading it once is not gonna hurt anyone, so yeah. Unless this is really far back, but no, this is July 2nd. That should be pretty accurate. So, oh my goodness, that was funny though. Probably not good. Probably might have that might have put some of you guys off, but literally would it have mattered as much? Well, I would have likely hit one of those. I would have had a better chance to hit Winston at all, but you know, I also have to check to see if I. Well, I can't remember now. Unfortunately, I don't think even in DX it's gonna tell us. So, yeah. Yep. You hear that? That's the ice in my drink. I really did get up to get a drink. There's no way for you to know that. I don't have my, I'm not using my webcam, but I did. And it didn't work out because I only got one attack in. It took me a bit longer because I also had to check something really quick because something happened while I was out there. But I was like, I know I have to come back and do an attack, at least one attack. So, yeah. Anyway, back to the redo. Turn back time. He who can turn back time will get stabbed by Capella. Oh goodness. Good. I actually hit the 71%. Thank you, game man. Yeah, this is yeah. I'll say it one last time. In terms of general information, but yeah, if that was hard mode, that would have done no damage, and this would have killed me. But since we're in normal mode, we get more chances. 50-50. Let's go. So, but yeah, that's how it is, and I understand. Okay, if you're a newer player watching this for whatever reason. There's a lot that you don't know, and with any game, when you don't know anything about how the mechanics work, you're worrying about a lot of things, and most of those things are things you actually don't need to worry about, or have no relevancy to actual gameplay, but there's no way for you to know, so. And in the case of content creators and streamers, you have to vocalize these things so that it's part of what you do, so like. You're not gonna not worry. So things like, oh, what makes my monster happy? Does this matter? Does the fact that it brought me a shoe mean anything? What do I have to do with this shoe? what do I have to do with this boot that the tiger brought back? Nothing. You just sell it, but you don't know that, so you keep it in your inventory, so and you're not spending as much gold on sales, or you're full on your inventory. You're not going to expeditions because you're like, oh, maybe expeditions are bad, even though they're one of the best things in the game, if not one of the most important things, because that's the only way you can extend your monster's lifespan. So, one of the only few ways. But really, if we're looking at generality, one of the main two ways. Of course, there's I think with I forgot which. No, was it here? Was it vanilla, or was it both, or is it remaster only, where Magic Banana can now extend your time? I thought. Well, I have to look back into it. But basically, yeah. If you're not taking expeditions, yeah, probably plan for those at some point. Maybe not your first monster if you're really a new player and you're having trouble. But once you kind of know what you're doing on your second monster, yeah, no, to make it less painful for yourself on your second monster, just get your monster up to C rank, B rank, B rank, C rank, B rank, C rank, B rank, and go to Pair in October, and yeah. Get to the middle of that map and get into that tower and try to find a golden peach. That's not even spoiler as much. Again, that literally meant nothing to you unless you knew anything about the game. And even then, you didn't need that to be spoiler hidden because, well, you knew about the game. So, yeah. But in terms of general information, it's expeditions are good. Each one has, I think each one, well, maybe not Korea. Can't remember if there's anything worth anything in Korea. But aside from obviously like getting money, but even then, if you're trying to farm money, you might as well do the other do to more than one thing at a time. So because in the I can't remember what it's in Toral's Mountain there's Paradoxine. In Pair, there's what I just said, and in Korea, unless you're unlocking monsters, obviously, which means you need to go, but yeah, I don't remember if there's anything you need to get from Korea in terms of long-term training, but, you know. And for veteran players, you can correct me on that if I'm wrong, because I don't remember the Korea expedition very well. And obviously, along with all the unlocks in Pair and Toral's anyway, so yeah. But that's the thing, again, back to the main point, you wouldn't know all this stuff as a newer player, and it wouldn't mean anything to, it's not even a spoiler, because I can say this stuff, but it won't mean anything to you. All you remember is probably like October, Pair, Peach. That's all you'll remember, but it won't help you get it, because there's also a bunch of things you need to know how to get it, and get it reliably. Or you could just not get it at all, and then you just start asking the community, like, how come I didn't get the peach? I even loaded the game like 3 times, and every time I couldn't find it. And it's like, well, you didn't know some things. So yeah, even then, again, I can understand why a lot of people, me included, when I was a child, especially, everyone starts somewhere, alright? So it's not a point of shame, it's just the truth. When you don't know, you're not going to be able to do things as efficiently. Even me right now, I have no reason to do things the most optimally, but obviously I'll just let the gameplay speak for itself at this point, but yeah, I think I'm just gonna play it. No, you know what? We're gonna go big. We're gonna go big, confident, and meditate here, unless we fail right there. But I need to fail anyway. Actually, with this, that's actually better for me because this life index. I shouldn't be losing any extra weeks of lifespan, and I also get fear from it. So I might even have enough to eat a snake, but no, I still won't do that. I'll probably get the Gemini pot first. So. So I think around winter time, the winter season of this, this coming December in game, I will be farming for some money. Even then, yeah, even until it reaches near its prime, I won't be doing much anyway. In the way of doing stuff and getting money so I can train in the prime. I'll need at least I'm just gonna ballpark 20,000 before I just start training mindlessly. That's literally all you'll be seeing, but it's for the best, trust me. If you're a newer player, if you're a veteran player, you could probably just advise me now. It's like, no, actually, you can wait here, here, here. You'd know the exact dates when to stop training, or maybe you don't even need to hit a tourney at all. Well, that's not true because you need the money to do it on your first monster. So, but you would still know the efficient dates for Kato Mochi specifically to when to go into tourneys to max out your stat potential. As much as it matters, again, you don't have to be the most efficient if you're just trying to reach certain goal points, but it is what it is. So 39, and then with this light training, it'll be at 59, but then I eat a mango. Yeah, eat a mango, it will be at 49. Then I do a light training at 60. Wow, that's really pushing it. And that's assuming I don't fail either. I mean, I won't be failing after a while, but still, it's pretty... Yeah, so my fear is up, otherwise I would never be at 52 loyalty. However, to me, it still won't matter. So, I mean, I could, but I don't want to waste the money here anyway, so... We're gonna mango. And I have to wait. I'm gonna wait for my next sale to go on a shopping spree. Again, it doesn't mean too much, but I might as well try to save money when I can to milk that extra month or two here and there of funds, basically. So, yeah. So there's 20. We should be at 69, which is literally one under the lifespan index. And then this mint leaf should push me to 11 stress. But I'll be resting anyway, which means I can do... and since I like fish, if anything, I'll be at 1 stress, but losing, even if I were losing a week every month, it's not the worst thing. Yeah, it's not the worst thing. That is still quite a bit of time lost from your monster overall, but if nothing else, especially if you're speed running, you just want to get into your prime and train anyway. I don't doubt that. I think there was actually a training method like that, if you're trying to speed into your next monsters and whatnot. So even this is not the most efficient way. Well, maybe it is. Well, it really depends. I'd have to look into that to see which is better for overall, not speed running, but yeah. And someone like JackofHearts might be able to tell you, who is a speedrunner, by the way. Yeah, I just called someone out by name. I just said someone by name, but it's because that's the Monster Rancher 2 speedrunner. He holds the records on, or I think he's only like second in one category, but everything else he holds first. At least on speedrun, the site. I can't remember. I think it's literally called that, but. The important point is that he is one of the speedrunners of the game, so there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. So I have to give credit where credit is due, but otherwise, if you're doing a one-monster speedrun to Legend Cup, obviously you'd probably train whatever monster you've prepared, so... Unless you're doing a random monster, but that would probably be in another category. Again, it is what it is. Actually, yeah, we want that sculpture because we want to sell it for 1,500 gil, 1,500 gil, money. This is not Squeenix, please. Okay. With that, I think I still want to eat. I want to feed it oil because 7 is not going to be. Yeah, let's do this. So we're gonna feed it in oil because I did a heavy. No, I shouldn't have fed it this. Why did I feed it this? I should have fed it a mango still. I would have been perfectly fine. Well, again, the gold there isn't probably going to mean as much until it does, but yeah, it shouldn't mean too much. But yeah, because the heavy drill is 15 fatigue, 12 stress, which is why I remember the number 39. because stress adds double to your life index, so 15 plus 12 times 2, 24 plus 15, 39. Light drills are 5. What? Why am I forgetting that? Why do I think it's 20 overall? Well, oh, it's because it's 10 fatigue, 5 stress. 5 times 2, 10, plus 10, 20. So light drill overall gives you 10 or 20, unless you scold it, which is extra stress. But anytime you do something like scold your monster or refuse it something, the stress increases. So yeah, which is why you usually just appease its request, even though it costs you gold, because you value the lifespan more than the gold that you would lose. Especially if it's something like a bone, which only costs 20 money. But I'm saying all these items, and by now you probably would have guessed I just finished raising a tiger, and you'd be right. Oh my goodness, it does so much withering, or at least to a player. But yeah, we're gonna sit here. Actually, I could actually get another drink. Oh, it did foolery. I leaned back and I wasn't ready for the foolery. Not that it. Well, it could matter. Actually, that could be match losing. Oh, especially if I do that. Okay, good. Because monsters, I think even normal mode, which hasn't been changed at all. And I understand. Actually, we could theory craft on that as we go through this tourney. But basically, for newer players or those who don't know, monsters will AI. Monsters will not attack unless they have at least 45 guts. Guts being the energy you need, basically energy that you need to do attacks. So the fact that you can, against monsters that don't recover guts fast, because each monster has its own rate of acquiring guts per frame or per second, but a monster that does it slowly is obviously more prone, AI-wise, to getting hit with an attack that lowers your guts by, say, 30, and now they're under 45, and now they gotta wait an extra, even maybe 5 or 10 seconds, which can add up. And if you're a player, well, you can expose that by saying, hey, I know you don't recover, you need to recover, like, it takes you, like, I don't know, we'll just say a random number, it takes you 10 seconds to get 30 guts, and you're almost at 45, oh, I hit you with an attack, and you lost 30 guts, so... And then you wait for it you wait for near 45 guts again, and then you hit it with the same attack. It's not always going to be the same number, but it's close enough where, again, another 5 seconds they have to wait, another 10 seconds they have to wait. It keeps adding up, and before they know it, the battle's over, and they lost because all that happened was they got hit, and they lost a bunch of... Oh my goodness. What am I even doing right now? This is going to be interesting. I might even rest because I don't even remember what the... I don't even remember what it's going to be. So, left and right, sight mode, Alright. I'm probably actually going to... Actually, I thought you want to lose these, but... No, well, let's do it. This is going to be weird because my setup is in a certain way, so... Oh, goodness. Oh, my goodness. Please. This is going to be really weird. Oh, my face. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to stand up and get a drink. Here, monster, you can win. God dang it. Gosh dang it. Because I think you need... Oh, my face. My face. Yeah, I am not optimized for this. I'm optimized for everything but playing this specific game as well. So... Block. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is gonna be troublesome. Yeah. Alright, so we're gonna lose here. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm definitely not set up. Yeah, basically I'm not set up to play this game. So, I can do that, but it's weird for me to get my fingers in the, placement I need, so... to properly throw and aim and all that, so yeah, whoopsie doopsie. Especially if you need the analog sticks, but... Which is gonna make me question... No, I don't think you needed the analog sticks for that, but... If you did, it is what it is. That said, we're gonna rest here to be safe. And yeah, we're probably gonna be fighting a whole bunch, because we might as well use the time we have right now to get, farm money. while we are... Actually, we can probably just rest. Yeah, farm money while we are at the lowest point of... Because every week I train is probably going to be lower per point than later on in its lifespan when... Especially before its prime, so... Yeah, so basically during its prime, I'm just going to be training it nonstop. Colt should tell me when that time comes. Like, she specifically says what you need to do. Or, like, it's the best time to train, so... Unfortunately, because the monster is doting, yeah, it's... I guess during the next sale, I'll look to... I'll try out a snake and see how it does. See what happens. Or I could just scold it here, never mind. This will mean I need to eat another mint leaf, otherwise I lose a week. So I'd rather lose a week. I'd rather pay 200 than lose a week. Actually, this is the sale right here, so I'm going to be feeding it a mint leaf regardless. Mint leaf, please. And I think I'll buy... you shouldn't need... I think in my experience it's 2 snakes, but I think I'll just buy 3 just in... No, I'll buy 2. I'll buy 2. So, let me sell this sculpture first. 1,500! And then, we'll take these 2 snakes here. 2 snakes. And I think I'll just do... I can wait till winter time, actually, so let's do... How much do we have? I'll just do... Yeah, that, and then I'll just keep buying mangoes. I like buying items this way, because that way I just need to press down or up to get the item I want. Usually, obviously, if I'm trying to feed it more than 2 items, it's... I still have to scroll around, but... I need a mint leaf. I need a mint leaf anyway. And this is the basic... This is the best time to do it, because, yeah, I already fed it. I was just making sure. But, so I can... And, yeah, that's... Yeah. So... I'm definitely going to only do light drills. What I'm thinking of is... Yeah, I have to mango here. And I think I'm still... Oh, yeah, I still have to rest, because I can't... If I could feed it tablets, I could do a light drill instead of resting, which is what I want, what I need to do, but... At the same time, I should also be probably trying to leap or dodge. Oh yeah, that's right. I should be dodging more often because I need to build on one of its stronger stats. Unless, well, this is Kato Mochi, so I don't even remember. I don't even know the actual thingies here. So with this smoke snake, my fear might be above 40, because I'm not. It's not doting, so it's my fear is at least 10. And my spoil must be like at 80 or something. Or 90, or probably near 100, pretty much at 100, near 100. I know I just scolded it, but still. And this fish doesn't help either, but... I think, is Kato the weird one, where it has some weird thing that it does during the fall or winter? I swear I've seen it, something like that happen, but... Well, let's save it and find out. We'll find out right away. Well, after we feed it this snack. So... for some reason I thought it was 20%, but actually it's 40%. So even if the fear is at 20 or 30, it'll be a lot for me basically. Nonetheless, soft 46. That's because my spoil went down a whole bunch, but I need it to go down more. So we're gonna find out. And if I waste money, I waste money. It's normal mode, so it doesn't really matter as much to me, but... yeah. So, we'll feed it this other snake and see where it's at. I'm pretty sure my fear is at least 15 or 20, right? I need it to be at least that. Otherwise, this means nothing to me. Well, we'll feed it more snakes later after the, after we get more than a few, after we get more than a few months with the Gemini's pot, which is going to be a far ways from now, but it'll make a difference. It'll make a difference. So, if nothing else, yeah, because I can't feed it well, I could theoretically start feeding it tablets. I could have also went into these tourneys, but Yeah, actually, I should have been doing it. So I'll plan on February. I'll plan on February. So, I'll get my speed to around 225 because I don't know how. Well, yeah, because I'm feeding it mangoes and stuff. So it's again, I might just be losing 1 week every month because of I miss doing some. So yeah, I am slim. So my speed is already getting a percentage boost, but I don't know where I am. So therefore, I'm still gonna build my speed at least to probably like to 190. But after that, I'll farm. I'll farm a few tourneys for about from February to Mayish to get the Gemini pot, and then we'll see how good we are on money then. I probably could even challenge D rank, but I ultimately want to. Yeah, I ultimately want to get to either B rank before. No, it would have to be. Well, it would depend. Again, I don't remember how the stat requirement for me to comfortably beat B rank tourneys, but we'll find out. If nothing else, do I want to try to errant tree again? I don't think I might actually have enough. Even with 50 loyalty. We'll find out. Let's find out right now. Again, it's good as time as any, so yeah, well, there's a low chance, if not near zero, but we might as well. Actually, I'll let this play out while I go get another drink, so enjoy! The monkeys! The monkeys! I'm here! Press! Go! Oh, I should have checked if I got that tech, but nonetheless, I'll let this play out at least. I had a lot of fun. Obviously, as a kid, you have a lot of fun watching these. Even though, obviously, as you're older, you just skip all of these, but it's definitely for a first-time player or someone who's looking at monsters do the things they do during the expedition. It's a lot of fun to watch. So, yeah, unfortunately, I think I need my intelligence and skill to be a total of 650, 600. I can't remember. That's the usual number I remember, but obviously, yeah, I probably wouldn't remember, but. Hey, on 4th week. Watch me succeed the 4th one, and then the Kato gets killed by the resulting monster that comes out, but yeah, so I really do have a lot of fun watching these. And unfortunately, yeah, a lot more. You know what? Actually, if we're theory crafting a remake, because I've gone back and forth, and obviously me and my brother, we might not know about everything like the numbers in game and whatnot, but I think we can all agree that in this day and age, there are a lot of old games, alright? We'll preface it with that can be remade just the way they are with more variety. All you have to do is increase the number of X in all these games. Bye, you failed. But yeah, for Monster Rancher 2 specifically, literally just, I mean, I say just like it's easy, it's not, but still, you would just need to introduce more monsters, especially with the hardware that we have. Oh yeah, so no techniques. We can load it the next week. But just come up with maybe even like just 6 to 12 more, because there's no way with our current gen consoles and PCs, obviously, that we wouldn't be able to hold the data required. And yeah, they probably came out with, I can't remember if they came out with, they already made like a mobile gachas, and I'm pretty sure they did to some extent. But yeah, I can't remember. I could probably look at the community and tell by the categories, but just remake Monster Rancher 1 and or 2. Not the remaster. Remasters are still valuable. That's why remasters come out. But if you make a remake, just do the same thing, tweak the numbers, and tweak maybe a few calculations here and there, and then whatever. We're in the day and age where people like to just patch things anyway, so if things are wrong, just patch it up. So it's like, you can make the same games. Monster Rancher 2 is just one of many games that you could just make it in current day, and you would have people. Granted, if we're to repeat that, in this day and age, basically playing games quickly is a little more valuable, but that doesn't stop people from playing, games like this where you can save at any time, literally, and you'd be perfectly fine. You would be fine. You would be fine. So it's like, because you have roguelikes, you have small games with like 10, 20, 30 minutes playtime, and then you can set them down or per round. Like, you have battle royales, which are literally 10, 20 minutes. If you die early, or quicker than that, and you just put these sessions on and you go. But I forgot if I fed it. But for Monster Rancher 2, you can save at any time, keep playing, and you'd be like, done, and it'd be fine. But I guess I understand, maybe from a marketing standpoint, they wouldn't get money, even though I think it would actually pay out pretty well. But, I mean, again, I don't know. I don't have the numbers. Maybe someone actually crunched the numbers somewhere, and whoever owns the Monster Rancher IP at this point, because, again, we can look at Koei Tecmo, but if we're being realistic, maybe remaster is the test. Maybe whenever they remaster or remake these games without, like, actually being a remake or, like, a sequel, they're just testing these games to find out if, how many people bought it? Oh, only this much? I guess we won't make a true remake of it. So maybe when DX comes out, if the numbers aren't like literally, and I'm pretty sure they're looking in the millions, but basically, if it's not high enough, they won't ever try to remake the game, which is sad. But I mean, it still depends on a lot of things, because if the cost of a development team is small enough, where all you're trying to do is sell a good amount, but there's so many variables. I guess there's not enough to actually really tell, but I don't know, man. It depends. Obviously, I'm not saying people who own old IPs, not just Monster Rancher. People who own old IPs don't love their games or love their fans, but it's not hard. It's actually not hard when you look at games that are really popular right now. Some of them are, at the minimum, some of them are literally just working off a formula that some old game did and brought it to the current generation. And guess what? It works. But I guess I don't know. I don't know. Again, we could come up with a lot of things. I'll fail this gladly, even though I really shouldn't. But yeah, it's fine. It's fine. We're on normal mode. That's how. Again. I'll get to that in a minute, but yeah, people don't want to, and if they don't, you're sitting on gold. You're literally sitting on gold, and you're letting yourself lose probably a profit, unless like I said, for some reason they know it's not profitable. I don't know who they is, but it is what it is. But yeah, so I don't know how else to. I don't know what else to say, because people put their foot down, and it is what it is. But for Monster Rancher 2, literally just introduce monsters, change the things that you have a community in every game, but Monster Rancher 2 for sure has a community that will tell you what is wrong and how to balance the game in a way where it won't matter to casual players, because it'll still be fun for casual players, and you'll keep the old people there, because guess what? The old ranchers, the veteran ranchers, they're the ones more in tune with the game. On average, I'm sad to say, as a game developer myself, a lot of developers really don't play their games, because they don't. They don't get into, and how could they? Because they're busy developing the game. They physically, a lot of them do not have the time to explore every facet of their game. Maybe during testing, but other than that, like, you don't have the time. I don't even have the time to test my own game. So it's like, how can I expect you hire testing, but they're unless those people really are both, one, in love with your game, and two, know how to optimize your game, they're not going to be able to give the best balancing opinions. And that's the best we can ask for. In a perfect world, we would get good, always good testing. But in this current generation, obviously that's not the case. So trust your community. If Koei Tecmo, whatever branch, if you can understand English or you're part of the Western branch, if you're for some reason you're watching this specific part of the video, whether it's clipped or some reason, and you're listening to this, then listen well. The community will tell you how to balance your game. And hopefully it'll be in a way that helps it. And by community, I mean real community, not the majority. Do not use the majority to balance your game. Use the actual community that it can optimize your game, knows the strategies to do the best in your game. In Monster Rancher 2's case, how to maximize your stats, because it's not always about 999ing, especially in vanilla version where it doesn't matter. And yeah, they will know what equations, what calculations, because we know what how damage works. We know a good idea, but you, the developers, and me, I guess included for my own game, we know the exact equations and numbers. We have access to it. You guys have access to it. Let us know. We'll help you tweak it. We'll help you. The community will help you tweak the numbers, and the game will be fun. Other than that, make your monsters, reinvigorate yourself. And part of this, I mean, that's more the developer side on it, but we'll get into that in a moment. But you just remake the old game and add new stuff here and there, because we just want new stuff. We'll eventually blow through everything. That's just the nature of hardcore fans, or people who are experienced with the game. But for the most part, like, something new, wow. And again, you can DLC now. You can even make a season pass for Monster Rancher Remake and just introduce more monsters and stuff. But it would sell. It would sell. As long as you do it right. Because in this current generation, I feel like a lot of IP owners are being lazy with, like, well, we'll just repackage the same thing, and we put it out there, but it didn't sell well, and we got negative reviews. Well, in a lot of those cases, the game wasn't actually made well, so that's not true. And if you want an actual example, as I've already mentioned Final Fantasy a few times, look at Final Fantasy VII Remake. Yeah, of course, we are all waiting for it, and it has its own little culture, but there are lots of owners sitting on IPs not doing anything. And again, I'll get into it right now. Maybe the creators of Monster Rancher 2, or the original people who had envisioned these monsters, or are capable of modeling new monsters and whatnot, yeah, you could send them to new people, but you have to get permission maybe from the old creator. Maybe you have a person who's in charge of the IP. Maybe there are several people who own the IP, so it's impossible, but yeah, you gotta do something, because otherwise, some of the games coming. This is not talking to Koei Tecmo. This anyone with an IP, sitting on an IP, and you're not doing anything with it. And maybe it's hard. Again, maybe you don't have the okay. Maybe the people working who could work on the IP are just burnt out and don't want to work on it for whatever reason. Maybe you just don't have the resources because your company's out of money. I don't know, but there's one tried and true rule that will always work no matter how much resources, no matter how big or small you are, and that is, if you make a good game, yeah, you'll sell a lot of the game. So even if you're looking at a marketing standpoint, I'm about to lose here, but even if you're looking at a marketing standpoint, I don't know, you could do it. Get over here and let me lick you. 36% chance. Yeah, that was not gonna happen. So, Monster Rancher 2 Remake, even minimum 3 new monsters, but you could add all the cross breeds. You could keep the tournament. Heck, you can even keep the same exact opponents. Like, everything looks the same. And yes, it's harder to make a remake because you have to, especially in current gen consoles, maybe making the one-to-one transition, you still have to code everything the way it is. You only have the skeleton of the design. You know that you have to copy everything from this old game and bring it to a new current generation. But it's gotta be easier than coming up from basic scratch. You need to have Suezos or Mochis or Tigers and Pixies and whatnot, but also, I think I'm just gonna keep this question mark. No, we are not gonna keep this, and the reason why... yeah, we're gonna keep this, actually. We have no items, but yeah, we're gonna keep that. So, I don't know. If you wanted my stance on it, and there's a bunch of other things, again, the veteran ranchers might already know the reason why we're never getting a remake, but... and you may disagree with some of my points, whether in how to implement and whatnot, or maybe you want more than just a few monsters, a few extra characters, cult, a new waifu, but it would be a start, because again, we have now the ability to add in expansions, DLCs, patches. It would work. I think it would work. But obviously that's not the whole thing, because you still have to execute. You still have to develop. You still have to test. You still have to QA. You have to put resources in that you might want on other games, even though, in this day and age, based on what we have currently, that doesn't work. So we're in the generation where bringing things back is also still part of the marketing meta, part of the money-making meta. You could make a new game, and that's always needed. We're waiting for Elden Ring, we're waiting for Street Fighter 6, we're waiting for anything else coming out. We're waiting for Final Fantasy Remakes Part 2, even though that's technically a remake as well, and it's not a new game, but it is a new game in its own regard. So, but on the other hand, we're sitting on IPs, and two, we have a few examples of games that have come out that are remakes and have done well. And again, the problem might be that a lot of remakes came out and the people who were looking for the sales didn't see the sales they wanted. But in a lot of those cases, those games were not made well. So I cannot defend them. In my mind, I cannot defend them. So. In the case of Monster Rancher 2, maybe they gave up, but if you make a remake, literally just remake Monster Rancher 2, and just is a pretty loaded word again. I'm not trying to say it's easy, but you would have a stable audience. And lo and behold, it's the stable audience that helps bring in... I think I agree with the point I once talked to someone about, where if you may remake a game and it's done well, then the players who were fans of the old game and are now playing the remake will bring in new people who will play the game. Even if they won't play it for the longevity, you will at least make the sales, and if the game is good, it actually won't matter, because some of those new players will stay. It won't be millions, but it'll be enough to keep a healthy community moving on to the next generation. So, yeah, make good Monster Rancher 2 remake if a remake is ever made, instead of just a remaster. So maybe DX is the test to see how much people are still interested in Monster Rancher, or in Japanese Monster Farm, but yeah, it's... if you make a good game, we'll promote it. So... And I wouldn't even want to promote it myself. Just literally give it to the people in the community who have been keeping the game alive in its own, in its own regard for the 20+ years now. So, again, shoutouts to people both in the West and Japanese, in the English and Japanese community. They really are into this game. All right, like any other game that has its hardcore base. And we'll play it every now and then, even though that's not true, because people... I'm in more than a couple communities, and I've looked at a lot of communities. Again, I do this as an indie game dev to kind of do research, but a lot of communities aren't even playing the games that they're associated with. However, from a social aspect, the reason is because they're connected with other people there, so it makes sense. But for Monster Rancher, they still talk about Monster Rancher, alright? Anyone from Koei Tecmo or anyone who has any influence over the Monster Rancher series, the community is very, very much alive. In fact, go YouTube search or Google search Monster Rancher Battle League, and you'll find that every week or very consistently there are videos and streams of Monster Rancher, and among many other tournaments that are being held by fans, because, well, the official ones are the official ones, especially since the remaster came out, but the game is being kept alive, and we're still looking into the game. This is why we probably might want a remake, because guess what? A lot of people will play it. Heck, we know people will play it. We have people who streamed and or made videos about Monster Rancher 2, the remaster, the Japanese version, even if they were part of the Western community, because until we got DX, we had no other way to play a new Monster Rancher 2 remaster. So yeah, the Monster Rancher 2 community is very much alive. A remake would be appreciated. And if you do it just for the love, you would earn the most cookie. You would actually stand out as a cookie point, as long as the game is good, alright? It doesn't even have to need to be perfect, it just needs to be good. And that's actually a high standard compared to what we have today, so even if you make a good game, you know, it might have its faults. It might have like 1 or 2 game crashes when you feed a mochi a potato on year 1020. That's not a real glitch right now. I'm just saying, if a remake came out and you fed a mochi a potato on the year 1020 and the game crashed, you know, that would not be the game killer, alright? On top of a lot of other games that came out that broke for much, much easier reasons. So that. So yeah, that's all I'll say on that. Remakes. Again, I'm not the one to listen to. I'm just starting up that ignition, I guess. If you really want ideas as to how to make a remake, I'm sure the community, both English and Japanese, would teach you ways. And I mean real community, like people who play the game every week, month, and/or month, in the past 20 years. They will tell you, not people who don't know what they're talking about, basically, but say that they're a Monster Rancher fan and they have nostalgia. That's very much appreciated, and that is appreciated. However, in terms of balancing the game, we know how that turns out in some games where the majority gets to say, and it doesn't bode well. Are games like that still popular? Sure. Does it make money? Sure, but it leaves a bad taste in the mouth, I guess. And there's more than a few examples where that taste just, you can't stand it anymore, and the game actually dies. But yeah, listen to the real community. So by that I mean players who know what they're talking about, at least. To give you a hint, it's probably players who know which of the monster techs are good and why a lot of them are bad. So yeah, that's that. So I'll probably go on for a couple more months before I stop here. I might need 3 sessions. That's probably because I slowed down to kind of rant about a remake for pretty much like 30 minutes, I guess. But oof. And I know I reiterated a lot of points. It's because I'm recording this in a stream-like way, so I'm just talking like off the top of my head. I don't have a script. You just have to believe me. I don't even have like a little notes of what I want to say. I don't really usually do that. I should be thinking of doing that, because that would stop me from kind of ranting on about the same points and give my videos a bit more structure, even though I'm playing things like just winging it, but you know. Also, yeah, I would. Oh my goodness, I pushed away when it did foolery again, but I wasn't even paying attention, so I might have lost weeks of lifespan because I wasn't paying attention. I'll probably look back at it and be like, wow, I did not feed it. I lost like 8 weeks, but so I was on autopilot there. I usually don't go on autopilot, but again, it's a way for me to train, especially since if I start streaming a lot more often, getting to autopilot, because you know, interacting. From my channel standpoint here on YouTube, because this should be on YouTube, being able to interact is pretty important. So that way I'm not just only talking about the game, which would be helpful, but again, I'm not the most knowledgeable about this game, so Actually, if I get hit by anything, that'd be... Okay, good, I hit this. I can just sit back and drink now. Or you know, just mash through the KO. Ah. Oof. So, we're gonna get through. I think because Katos live a long time, that also will make this a little bit longer, but... Granted, I did load a lot of times during this session alone, so... And yeah, you usually don't see people doing that. I don't think you see anyone really doing that, in terms of... not that makes me stand out in the better way or not. I'm just saying, from the playthroughs I've seen of Monster Rancher 2, I don't think I've seen a lot of saving and loading going on. And if there was loading, it was only like a few times. It's not like me who's trying to win the Legend Cup, so I kind of need to try to be a little bit optimal at the bare minimum. Otherwise, I will not make it to the Legend Cup at all. But for the most part, though, yeah, if that were the case, I mean, I know obviously everyone else has their own. I'm actually concentrating on making Monster Rancher content, so everyone else, you know, they have to one-off the game. They don't have time to stop, so they don't have time to optimize. That's understandable. So. You know, it is what it is. I don't know, that might just be my personal preference. When I get into a game, I don't usually like to post, like, my first play... Well, I don't know, how accurate would that be? Because, nonetheless, I still like to look into my game, so it's not... I'm not giving you... It's not that it's not a real experience. Now I can just stand here and talk for a moment. But it's not like I'm not giving you a real experience. It's more that I'm not giving you a... What is it? What would we call it? It's still a first-time experience, but it's coming with knowledge that I look up here and there, so I'm not... And for me, it's because I don't want to bumble around, which is entertaining in its own way, but I think it's just not me, alright? It's just not me. And since we're on YouTube and being myself, and even ethically and from a business standpoint, it kind of... I mean, yeah, sometimes you want to, obviously you want to not be different, but you want to be presentable, I guess, is the good way to put it. At the same time, you still want to be yourself, because otherwise it's a bit tiring. And obviously that's not a dig at, you know, real-life content creators versus VTubers. That's just more like, how do I say it? What's the way to say it? I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not criticizing or critiquing anything in specifically. But for me personally, at the bare minimum, I'm not good at faking things. So so it's less tiring for me to try to, which is why when you see videos where I'm talking and it feels really smooth, like my guide videos, it's a bit stilted because it is still me, but it's basically me using Audacity to record. That way I'm not bumbling through. Otherwise you would have got... Actually, those videos are still up. Otherwise you get my sit-down and review videos of World of Horror, the really early ones, where I'm kind of like going, bleh. I still kind of do that now, because I say, like, again a lot. I say, as I said earlier, or phrases like that. I still say that, but it's not forced. That's kind of how you can tell it's still me being me. I'm not trying to... It's not that it's not putting on an act, because that's not accurate either. But yeah, anywho, I will admit there were times where I had to stop, look over at something, and be like, well, I gotta change that. But for the most part, I don't like trying to... As a person, I don't like lying. It really hurts. And sometimes I do lie, but in terms of, like, everyone lies, but it doesn't feel good. For me, it feels specifically even worse. But still, when I'm making videos and stuff, I actually just tell the truth, which is why that's part of the reason why whenever I say something where I think it's information, like, Kato starts with the hard mode intelligence tech, I always say, make sure that's right, or veteran players, please correct me, because I don't know if I'm actually right when I'm saying that. There's always a bit of uncertainty. I think there's a bit of uncertainty in everything, but for people who think they know certain facts of information, which, for the most part, I mean, those people are credible, but on the other hand, I mean, to me, there's always that chance that, what if I'm wrong? Especially if it's not something confirmed in fact, but yeah, that's just my way of going through things. I don't even remember where this started, but where did this conversation come from? Gosh dang it. Alright, well, we're here to sale now. I need to buy smoked snakes. So, yeah, definitely with Fawn, we're buying at least 2 smoked snakes. So, and I think we have enough loyalty where it... I should have bought mint leaves first, but it's fine. Actually, let me take a look at my schedule. Did I ever get the Gemini pot? Did I sell the Gemini pot? No, I'm not there yet. I'm close, so... Not that it matters anymore, but for future monsters, it'll matter, so... 1, so this will be... Again, so this is what's trying to go in my mind, but I forgot now. So, smoke, snake, mango, mint leaf, mango, mango oil. I'm not gonna remember this. Oil, mango, mint leaf. That's way too... That's more than 10 items right now, so... Until I get the house expansions, but let's start with this month. I'm just gonna buy more mint leaves anyway. Actually, I'm just gonna buy a bunch. So, 3 mint leaves. I bought 2 snakes already, which means I only have 5 items left, so that'll be mango, oil, and I think I'll leave it at that. If I buy my 3rd oil, it should lock me out, because I ran out of room. But, oh no, actually I can do more. Well, I can do a lot more. Oh, mistakes are made. Oh well. Let's mint leaf, just in case I forgot. Okay, yeah, I didn't feed it yet. So let's buy 1 more mint leaf so we can, No, let's buy, let's buy 1 more mint leaf. Well, I messed up my inventory a lot, but it's fine. I don't lose so much time, but it's still time I lose, so we're gonna rest here. And again, we're gonna try... Well, actually, I might even be able to... Oh, I should have taken that official tournament then. Well, we'll try for the next one, actually. Well, yeah, we'll try for the next one, because then that would still line me up with the pure gold tourney. The tourney where you can get pure gold. And if I can get that, nonetheless, I'd like to at least get into tournaments before Prime. Get to B rank, get to C and farm money before Prime, which is probably coming up in another year or so. So, yeah, because I'd have to check. If I do a session, you know what I'm actually gonna do? It's not that I'm being dishonest, but I will be transparent. And I think that's where it started. I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, after this session, which is about probably about 9 minutes left if I'm looking at my recording. Again, these sessions I don't want to be longer than 2 hours. But, yeah, I'm going to be looking at things in the background, so I'm going to be looking to Kato Mochi, I'm going to be looking at what I could be doing better, and doing some research on the side to kind of optimize my time here. Again, it's going to be my first, or my only this is basically an ode to the last vanilla playthrough before DX, because even after this, even if DX wasn't going to come out, well, actually, this video wouldn't be here, but, I'd be doing hard mode regardless, so yeah, my fear is somewhere around my loyalty now. My spoil and my fear are somewhere around the loyalty. But yeah, let's meditate. When is my next official tourney, by the way? Yeah, so we're getting closer to Prime. You can tell by the way your monsters' points are. For newer players, if I were to give kind of tips and stuff, you can tell by the rate, by how much points your monster is getting per training. I didn't feed it. Oh, I did. Yeah, so 16 is around, we're getting near, if not almost there, but we're getting near. This is probably like adolescent phase, in about a few more months minimum, but probably 6 months to a year, I'm going to be on my prime phase, which means I need to get all the money I can right now, otherwise I have to spend a week or 2 here and there isn't going to kill my, at least, progress towards Legend Cup. But it is going to be points lost. That's like at least 20 plus points, and especially if I'm doing light drills instead of hard drills when I should be, because I optimally want to be doing hard light per month, and I can't do that because that costs 1,300 per month. Two mint leaves, 2 oils, and a tablet at the start of every month, which means you need 13,000 every. No, the 15,000. Well, hold on. Let me get into this first. What I said as I sit back and think, because that's 1,300, 12 months, so that's 15,600 per year, which means, like I said 20,000 at a minimum, but after about a year or so, you run out of. Well, I think this Kato's gonna run out of Prime. There are 4 types of lifespan categories. I don't doubt that one lasts for more than a year. I don't remember off the top of my head. Again, this is one of the things I'd be researching after this session. But, yeah, it lasts at least 6 months to a year. So I want to just train. Even after Prime, you're still going to be getting a good amount of points, so there's no reason not to. It's just that Prime is the moment where you get the most amount of, the amount of points you get is the highest, the rate at which you get them. So, yeah, and obviously, even if I were to spend like 2 months doing other, like losing 2 months of Prime, I would hit the max intelligence I would need. I would hit I would probably be over 800 skill or speed. No, I'd be working on skill, and then I'd be working on speed, because speed has speed has leap, so that's that. So I'm probably I'm only through like 1/6 of my actual game time, especially since I'm going to be entering tourneys and whatnot. So you know what? Yeah, let's get started leaping. Actually, yeah, let's leap. Yeah, let's start leaping. So, and grades help, but it's not going to matter as much. I mean, it'll still matter, but the point is that I'm going to be reaching speed doesn't need to be the highest as well, because I'm going to make my Kato skinny. For those who don't know, the skinnier your monster, or basically the skinnier your monster, I'll just simplify it like that. The skinnier your monster, the less speed you'll need, because your speed will be, the form gives your speed a multiplier based on how fat or skinny your monster is, and if your monster is skinny, then the multiplier obviously increases your speed without telling you. So I want to be around, I think 760 is the magic number, or was it 740? I can't remember. For some reason I thought there was a difference, but 750-ish, because that'll depend. If I enter a lot of tourneys at the near end of my life, I'm wasting points. Again, it won't matter. All I'm trying to do is beat Legend Cup, but the information is there. That's why this is the kind of preciseness that gets involved with min-maxing your monster. I guess we'll just use the general term. But yeah, things like that. Things like your power not needing to be 999, at least in the vanilla version. In DX, however, I think the community will tell you exactly what you need to do, but everything's going to be point for point. The only thing that matters point for point in, like, right now, me playing this right here, is life. Yeah, just life, because it's per point, and it's actually one of your best defensive mitigators. Actually, not defense, funny enough. Even with here and there, yes, defense does provide you a lot of mitigation, but it's situational and dependent on the monster you're fighting. It's a whole discussion that you could take, or look up yourself in the community. There's more than a few discussions, but I guess if the community is not tired of it, you can just ask directly how good. Basically, just ask how good is defense. But I'm pretty sure someone's brought that question up, which is why you can just look for it in the community. I keep saying community as a very general pronoun because I don't want to name names just in case I want to protect anonymity or whatever. But regardless, it is a question that's asked. The reason is because you don't actually mitigate as much damage as you think, usually, and life is a safer one. Again, defense is not pointless, but life is pretty reliable based on the way that damage mitigation works exactly. On top of that, there's speed, which is if you don't get hit at all, That's good. And some people might think immediately, well, doesn't that mean your monster is a glass cannon? No, because if you use withering attacks, good withering attacks, you won't get hit anyway, and which lowers the amount of attacks the other side can do, which means you only need to you're really only dodging 2 attacks at maybe 30-40%. And if you get punched, sure, you die, but there's also grit as well if you get into the competitive scene. And what by that I mean, grit is a special trait that monsters can have, or you can give depending on how you're what you do. And when you get knocked out, there's a chance that you just get back up with 1 HP, and for some battles, that's enough to turn the tide of battle, because if you can't hit the monster that woke back up with 1 HP, and it wakes up and kills you, then you've still lost the battle. So, again, that's kind of the thought process that goes behind what you want to build. Again, tanks are not useless, they have won their battles. It's just that the way that especially official tournaments run by Koei Tecmo tried to run, you saw a lot of, well, without stat limits, you saw a lot of 999s, surely, because every point mattered. I also did not take the official tourney that I was supposed to, but whoopsie doopsie. Did I save? No, actually, hopefully I didn't save. June? Okay, good. We can reload it. But yeah, I was on autopilot, that's why. Because I was talking about all this thing that goes in consideration. And this is already probably flown over your head if you don't know as much about how to min-max and optimize and whatnot. This all started off talking about speed, by the way. And as we return to speed again, if your speed is high enough where you can never hit the other person, it won't matter. And even if you do, they get up and they hit you so hard that you die anyway, or you get withered and then they hit you again and then you die, because part of that is, I think someone, and I mean, it's pretty blatant that there's a stat cap to this game, which is why in a remake there might be value in allowing us to go above 999. I don't see why not, but because we're limited by 999, what happens is that there's only a certain amount that you can hit, and that you need to build towards to one-shot someone, or in the case of defense, actually the defense calculations actually make it so that you mitigate a lot less at the same level or below. So if you have the same defense and the same power, sure, okay, fine, you might mitigate upwards of 30-40% for whatever reason. I don't remember the exact number, but it means nothing if you get hit all the time and you lose all your guts. And since competitive tournaments are held AI versus AI, your AI will not attack if it has lower than 45 guts, which means all the monster needs to do if it dodges your 2 attacks at 30% or 40%, is that it just needs to wither you once or twice, and the battle is over, because your monster will not be able to do anything, and the time runs out. You have lower life, or maybe you just get knocked out again, because and you might be asking, well, can't I just build into all accuracy as well? Won't that mean I have a higher chance? Because theoretically, yes, then maybe you have a 50-60% chance. I can't remember the number off the top of my head, and that's the actual number is part of the reason why a lot of people build offensively usually. But in that case, there's also another trait called power, where if you get knocked down really low, especially if you build into life, where, again, life is another reason why that happens. Again, I'm not speaking this in truth. If nothing else, it's more for me to think, but when everyone's life is 999, even if you have, say, 1 defense, you actually survive some attacks, because, again, a lot of monster techs in this game are not balanced well. So yeah, your golem might have 950 power, and they have 50 defense, or 51 defense, or really 100, 200 defense, depending. You hit them really hard, but they have 999 life, so you do 700, 800 damage when you crit, or maybe you don't crit. Even then, again, the point is that you're not one-shotting things. If you one-shot things, that would be a different story, but sometimes you don't. Yeah, especially if it's if it's an attack that doesn't do a lot of damage innately. So you just end up hitting something, they don't die, the other monster hits you, and you have high defense, but you don't have high whatever else if it's a tournament where you don't have 999 everywhere. So You take Withering, you get hit by more attacks. Maybe you build skill, speed, defense, and that is a thing where you're more tanky, but then you have to be sacrificing something else in a tournament that limits your stats, which means if you build skill, speed, intelligence, maybe you have a bit of life, but you don't have any intelligence or power, and what ends up happening is that you don't hit hard enough when the other monster has 999. They don't die, and so the other side didn't need to build defense anyway because you didn't have high enough offensive stats. If you build high offensive stats and only say have 500 skill, 500 600 skill, based on what you see right here is pretty much not completely accurate, but it's close, where, yeah, this guy gets a few hits in, but he has a low chance to hit. I get power, I lick him once, he dies. But, again, that's if I hit. My skill is kind of low as well, but... but yeah, if I had higher skill, actually I would have like a 99% chance to hit. So you don't want that if you can't hit the other player, other monster, and the other monster hits 99% and withers you. Meaning it decreases your guts and you cannot attack because AI cannot attack if they have lower than 45 guts. And even if they could, there's guts correction, which I'll talk about in a moment. But even if you could, sometimes you'd miss anyway because you'd still be at a 30-40% chance to hit if you're sacrificing skill for offensive power. And then you're just like, well, I can't hit you, and then you hit me. You never hit them. They're at full life. They don't kill you, but they don't need to because they have the life lead. And then, as I said, there's guts correction. So there's a thing in this game where I'll compare it to Guilty Gear Strive, I guess, and it's kind of it's different, obviously, because Strive is HP and here it's energy or guts. But for the most part, basically, the bigger the difference in guts, the more benefits you gain if you're the one with higher guts, or the more you are penalized if you have lower guts. This includes accuracy, damage dealt, and damage taken, I think, on a base level, among with some other factors, maybe. But for the most part, since it also affects your accuracy based on the difference between your guts, which means if you attack with lower guts into someone, that's probably an extra 5-10%-ish minimum that you lose off your accuracy, which does matter, of course, if you care about that. So, yeah, when that 25% becomes 17% and you don't hit, it's like, well, yeah. So even if you could attack under 45 guts, you sometimes don't want that anyway because... unless you're in a situation where you need to attack, obviously, or an AI should probably think about attacking because they're not in the life lead and the time's ticking down. In any other situation, you want to build up guts so that you're not beneath and you want the other side to attack first. Then it's like, okay, I have higher guts, so if I hit you and have higher accuracy, I'll deal more damage, so on and so forth. Again, this is all the complexity that goes into the game in terms of battles, so... And again, veteran players or experienced ranchers can correct me or talk more about this subject in depth. They have talked about this subject in depth both in community and on videos online. So I also recommend you go look at them. One in particular, the channel name is MrMooseBones. In the community, he's called something else, but go look at MrMooseBones videos, if nothing else. If you skip to the end of this video, go look at MrMooseBones videos. He's made a lot of good videos that you should probably listen to that are actually based on research and facts and information that the community has come together to build. So, but again, that information is obviously a lot of what I base my own opinions on, which is why I believe in the offensive meta. Again, tanks are not completely worthless. If I were to compete and I built an offensive monster and someone else built a tanky monster and I lost, I mean, I'm not gonna be like, oh, but no, I would understand. And that's more just, obviously, if you're just a better rancher, that's something too, but it is a thing. Again, experienced veteran ranchers can pipe in terms of how this actually plays out, but on general level, you want to build things offensively. If you're playing casualty, I mean, it helps as well. Unless the AI frame 1 attacks you, then that can be bad, which is what does happen in hard mode, and it's pretty funny. It's stressful, but it's funny, so it is what it is. But yeah, we're gonna finish this tourney fighting Harry Mao. I think I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna do AI versus. You know what? We're gonna do AI versus AI and see how it turns out. I'm gonna feel. Well, actually no, because if I go AI versus AI, I risk losing the tourney. But yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna take that risk. I'm too scared because I don't believe in my AI. So yeah, I don't believe in the AI. The AI could very much well do the physical tech that's in the first slot, which would not be good for me. So. If I didn't lose to Sakura Art, I'd feel more confident about doing it, but again, that would be more an exercise in entertainment than anything else. So yeah, as we close this out, I am still working on my JMML versus BNNY meet. I probably need to do more on that. I might, depending on how much time I have left before DX, I'll probably just make it a 3-on-3. But it'll still be a 2 out of 3 matches. So I have the rules up. That video should be, maybe I'll link that video here somewhere. If not in this video, then in the description and or comment section. But if nothing else, yeah, I plan to do at least a 3-on-3. I want to do a 5v5, but staying true to the actual IMA, IMBA meet. But if I can't do it before DX comes out, I can't do it before DX comes out. I would like to, but I can't. Along with other things I want to do, so that's that. So we're fighting Sleep Bomb here. Basically, I guess the tanky monster, but yeah, and he did foolery, so that doesn't count, but still, he has to hit me like at least twice. None of his moves do enough damage, and yes, this is normal mode, but again, it's not like it's going to be much different in DX, unless they pull a fast one on us, but no one really believes it. I didn't look to see what any more changes were gonna be. We just assume for the most part they're gonna be transferring the changes or everything in the Japanese remaster to the Western, which I mean is the realistic way. It's not that it's lazy. It's just that if they just bring it to the Western audience. Yeah, they brought other stuff as well. We have access to JP specific content that we never had in the PS1 game. So yeah. Can I knock you out? No! So, yeah, we'll wait for DX. DX about a few days from now, so we'll see when it comes out, which is going to be kind of weird. Yeah, games like to release on Tuesday, Thursday-ish, but what can we do, right? So, if nothing else, I'll be saving it, but if you want to support me directly, I do have a Patreon that you can directly pledge to directly support me. If not, if you actually care about Monster Rancher 2 content though, MrMooseBones has a Patreon as well. Go to him first, support him first before you support me. And otherwise, if you want to support me here on YouTube as well, you can subscribe. That would help me out the most. Otherwise, comment and like this video, and I'll try to respond to any comments that are actually either trying to discuss things with me or we want to shout out something at me. If you're a veteran rancher and you want to correct me on something, I will acknowledge it. If you're asking a question, I'll try to answer to the best of my knowledge. I usually try to look up things and try to fact check before I say anything, but I could be wrong, and again, that's why it would be good if any veteran rancher could jump in. Otherwise, I usually direct people to other sources, but I'll try to do my best to answer. So, I'll need to eat a nuts oil and not forget that I ate a nuts oil. Never mind, I'm at the beginning of the month, so I shouldn't know. I still need to be eat a nuts oil, but I'll save it after that. And we will get on to our next session. So, without further ado, I will be making more Monster Rancher 2 content. DX, I'll figure out how it works, because we don't know how the file management will work, both on Switch and on PC. I really don't want to record on Switch, because it takes a whole setup. I could, obviously I could, and I should, but yeah, it's gonna be a thing. We'll have to see how it works out. My layout is the way it is right now, but I'd like to make a more custom layout, but we'll have to see. So we'll feed Bunny this oil, and I don't want to say the whole name because it feels a little weird for me to say the whole name, but yeah, we'll save it, and I will see you in the next session. I won't take up more of your time. Thank you for watching. If you, for some reason, you watched the whole video, if you're a veteran rancher, I hope you enjoyed what you just saw. Otherwise, yeah, I'll see you next time.